We're here boxing and basketball with Jamel here. And hey, how you doing, Jamel?
Everything's good, man. I can't complain, bro. Can't complain.
How first of all, I want to tell you thank you for your service. Also, thank you, Randy, for how was 4th of July?
Oh, my 4th of July was cool, man. For the most part, I just stayed home this year around. I didn't feel like going out anywhere. I spent time with the kids and the family and the wife, and I just chilled, relaxed. You know, of course, got on the grill, shot some fireworks, and called it a day.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with 4th of July being on a Tuesday, the middle of the week.
Yeah, that too. Like, yeah, anybody trying to be out there all day and got things
Right.
to do.
Right. Yeah. Most of the partying I did was on a Saturday and Sunday.
Right, exactly. You know, the weekend, I was like, I forgot. It hit me today. Like, damn, it was Wednesday. Like, I
Yeah.
thought it felt like they trying to say like the weekend was yesterday, but it's already Wednesday now.
That's a good thing, man. So 2 more days of work
Yeah,
and
right. 2 more days of work. We back into the weekend again. So
right.
yeah, I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. And so I want to start off by asking a few questions, man. So
Yeah, let's
again,
go. I'm
like
all for it, Randy. I'm all for it, man. Come on.
all
I'm all
right.
here.
So I want to say, man, thank you for your service. I see that you were a
Thank you,
Marine.
brother. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, man. So one vet to another, man. Thank you.
All love.
Yeah, yeah. I served in the army as well, man. But so
Salute.
I was, hey, absolutely. So bring up, you were once the WBO junior lightweight champion, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, throughout your time, you fought at 141. But I also read that you fought super featherweight as well, right?
That's when I was the world champion on WBO. That's WBO junior lightweight, super featherweight, all the same. But yeah, basically 130 pound champ. I fought there for a few years. Matter of fact, starting in 2017, 2018,
Okay.
when I made the move to that weight class. But yeah,
Okay. That's awesome, man. And you coming out of New York, correct?
yes
Coram, New
sir.
York.
Long Island for sure.
Okay. So there's Long Island area. Okay.
Yes sir.
Okay. All right. So and where are you currently located now?
Right now, I'm right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
Because simply, like I said, I moved out here after my military career because my first trainer, Michael Stafford, he lived here. He lives here. So when I was transitioning from the Marine Corps to the pros, decided to come out this way instead of rather going back home to New York because I felt at the time there were just too many distractions in New York. It was just too many distractions, and I know me, and I know and I know if I'd have went home, I probably would have lost a little bit of focus because I'd have probably been out hanging out too much. So I needed to go somewhere where I just could just focus solely on just training.
Yeah. No, that's a smart move, man. Absolutely. So I guess when you started boxing, was it prior to your military career or was it
Yeah,
during?
it was actually a couple of years prior. Like I said, people don't know. I started boxing late compared to other athletes that start boxing. They start boxing like 6, 7, 8 years old and they're competing. For me, I was like 15, going on 16 years old. And then when I joined the Marine Corps, I was still 17 years old. I just graduated high school. And my birthday's late. My birthday's in October. So when I graduated at June, whatever, I was still 17. And I went to boot camp. I had my 18th birthday in boot camp. So when I went to the Marine Corps boxing team, you could basically say most of my amateur experience came within, the military. Because from there, I became a national champion, a U.S. Olympian, and so on. Then after that, it was like I feel like I did everything I had to do as an amateur, thanks to the military. So I just moved on to being a pro, back in the civilian world.
Okay, that's
And
awesome. I
how
was
did
just
you
talking.
find the
Oh,
sport?
sorry.
How was it that you chose boxing? Because there's lots of sports in high school, but usually
Yeah,
boxing is not offered in high
I'm
school.
glad you asked that. It's a funny ass story because I still argue with my one of my old coaches from high school. True story. I did basketball, I did track, I did all the, what I'm saying. My first sport when I was a kid, I was like 10 years old. I did pee wee football. I did all that. I did all those any basic sport that deal with athleticism. I pretty much did it. But like the reason why I went to boxing is because this is why I argue with my old gym coach. I was doing bad. I was doing terrible in high school. I was one of those kids where I was like, I was smart, but I didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? To really like if I like you should, if you give me a test, I'll pass the test, but I wasn't doing everything else academically. So you know how school sports are. You got to have a certain
Yeah.
GPA, whatever. And then my basketball coach, he had cut me from the team. He had cut me from the team, and then we had got to it like the next, spring sports came around. We had got into on the about with track. They kicked me up the track team for whatever reason, whatever, because they didn't like my attitude, I guess at the time. So I was never the type of kid to be out and running in the streets. So I was like, I gotta find something to do to keep me busy. And then one of my close friends, introduced me to boxing, and that's how I got into boxing. So when I had my first world title fight, that old coach that kicked me up the team and everything, he was there front and center in the in the arena. But to him, if you ask him, he's my biggest fan. But if I'm like, yo, coach, you the reason why you kicked me out the team. This is the reason why I'm boxing now. He's like, oh no, I don't remember that. He don't remember none of that. But I'm like, yo, coach. I'm like, yo, you kicked me, like you literally had me kicked off the team because me and you had got into it about whatever, and you got me bumped off the team. And he was like, but to this day, he'll never admit to that, but he'll take credit. But at the same time, he'll take credit for me going to boxing. Yeah, because you're the reason why I'm over here boxing. But like, it's a funny dude.
Find a new sport.
Yeah, like you're the reason why I had to find a new sport. Like, but you don't remember why I had to find a new sport. Like, come on, coach, stop it. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Everything plays out for a reason, so I can't complain.
Which gym did you? What was the first gym you went to?
Oh man, like again, Long Island, Shirley, New York, and Long Island. Veteran, it's crazy. Veterans Memorial because the owner he was a military vet, so it's called what I'm saying Veterans Memorial slash Atlantic Boxing. And man, it was like one of those like old school Rocky Balboa type gyms where like it had that smell to it. The ceiling was pretty much coming through. All the fight posters on the wall, all them old school type gyms, all the little fight posters and everything. It was like basically a hole in the wall, but that was the gym. That's where what I mean. And that's when I started, really. I never forget my first sponsors. It came on bloody nose and all that mess. But I never been a quitter at any sport, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just deal with it and just keep going back. And I just kept going back to just because it kept me busy. And boxing is one of those sports where you could do all year round instead of waiting for a season to come around. So it's one of those things that's why the reason why I kept going back to boxing.
And so you got into the boxing. You went into boxing. You got into military.
Right.
When did you realize like I could do something with this sport? Like, this is something I love to do. And
yeah.
how did you?
Yeah, actually, y'all asking a lot of good questions because it's bringing me back memory lane. Because like a lot of people don't know this. Because bro, like man, you was like I said, you are a vet. You a vet. So you just when you get into that situation, you be thinking like, should I just continue just going my path in the military, where it's let's be honest, it's comfortable. You're gonna get paid, guaranteed, first 15, yada yada yada. And I'm thinking like at this time point in time, I had kids, so I'm like, I gotta think about I can't be selfish, you know what I mean? But it was one of those things where it wasn't literally until the semifinals in the Olympic trials. So this is like back in August of 2011. 2011 in August. I'm going through Olympic trials to even try to make the Olympic team. And that's what I was saying to myself, like, man, I made it to the semifinals, and I was actually on the bottom of the bracket. Like people didn't notice, like I was literally like the eighth seed of the bracket. And when I got to the semifinals, I was saying like, you know what? I probably can really go further with this boxing thing that I'm giving myself credit for. Because I was just thinking like, as a military veteran, I was saying like, I'm just happy just to like represent the military. We're here, so we're here representing to get to the Olympics. But it wasn't until like literally, I never forget the semifinals, and I was like, yo, I could really, if I really start like believing more in myself, because at the time I was just like, yeah, there's a lot of guys that had multiple national titles. I didn't have a single national title to my name. But here I am, what I'm saying, facing against national champions, and I'm beating them. I'm beating these goose. I was like, yo, if I can hold my own in this, I'm pretty sure I can actually, not only make it to the Olympics, but go further in boxing. And that's when I started. That's when I started really, investing more and studying more on my craft. Another thing people don't know, I did 9 years in the Marine Corps. Like Randy knows, it's 4 year contracts unless you got a certain special job. So I actually like after Olympic trials, I could have easily got the military and went on my way, but I wanted to represent the Marine Corps. And during the Olympics, that I actually had them give me a 1 year, a 1 year contract on the end of my enlistment. So in order to represent them in the summer games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how was that experience representing the country?
Oh, that was crazy because um the same day of the Olympic opening ceremony, that was the anniversary of that was three that was I think it was, yeah, at that time it was the 3 year anniversary of my daughter's passing. See, my daughter had passed away from SIDS at 2 months on that same exact day 3 years prior. So like when I started, when I like instead of like looking at that day as like a tragedy, what I'm saying, I looked at it as, what I'm saying, it was like a triumph, like because I keeping her memory alive and keeping her memory pushing me to keep continuing my own dreams. That, what I'm saying, I was there from everything I've gone through, from losing her and things of that nature. So I believe that everything happens for a reason. Like it was crazy. Like I was the team. They put me as the team captain. I was the team captain of the of USA Boxing. Um, like I said, my daughter it was a 30 year anniversary of my daughter's passing, and then on top of that, I was actually the only United States Marine in London of all sports, not just boxing, but like every sport. I was the only Marine to represent London at the game. So I believe everything happened for a reason. So I just kept, saying, rolling. I just kept rolling with the punches, and then like what, years, like a decade later or so, well, almost a decade later, on my daughter's 10th, on her 10th birthday on May 25th, 2019. That'd have been her 10th birthday. I won my first world title on that same exact day. So like, I believe that God just works in mysterious ways. And I just, instead of sitting around moping and blaming the world for everything that happened to me or going into my life, I just took everything negative and I spun it around, and I use it as positive. That's why you look at my fights. If you look at my trunks, I have my daughter's name attached on all of my trunks as my motivation, my guardian angel. So like I said, I took something that was devastating, but I use it as fuel to get me to where I needed to be.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And you did something. You went from the military to the Olympics, and then once you finished your service, you had a successful boxing professional career. Not many guys from the military were able to do that.
I mean, it's a great accomplishment. And crazy thing about it, I'm telling you guys this, I still feel like I still got more to accomplish. Like there's times I get that itch where I'm like, and matter of fact, I have gotten an itch where now I'm working on, making a comeback, but in my own way. We still want to get to the top of the highest level of the sport because that's in my opinion, that's where the fun is at. But I'm doing it. We're doing it my way. And again, like you pointed out, I mean, people always say, if you've done a lot. You represented the military. You represented all veterans and such. But I feel like there's more to us. Randy, our mindset is probably our strongest asset because we've seen it all, we've been through it all. So that's why, like, I've been cut everything in the ring. That don't bother me because I've been like, listen, I've been to Iraq and I've been here and I'm cool. Like, this is the fun part. I'm cool getting a little cut, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's what keeps me going. It's just that I always reflect on everything that I've been through in my life. And then I think about all the military veterans because, like I said, again, in Iraq, you work with all branches. I work with Army, everyone. But I think about all those guys who may or wish they could be where I'm at. So I don't take anything for granted. You know what I mean? If anything, I try to represent the guys that are overseas still fighting or whatever in harm's way and represent them in a proper manner.
Right. So,
So, what's one of your next goals, or do you want to go into like coaching, or I know you've done some broadcasting and all
Right,
that
right.
for
No,
ESPN.
right now, I thought about it. Because now, like I said, I got two sons and they're constantly nagging me and like, Dad, you teach me the basics and this and that. Like, and I'm cool with that, but I don't have the patience, like as a trainer. And I think that came from just like I said, just being in the military. I don't have the patience, what I mean, to really sit there and observe and micromanage things. But like crazy thing about it, what I'm saying right now. But besides that, I'm managing fighters because I want to basically help fighters avoid some of the things that certain fighters run into, like just more importantly with finances, because let's be honest, you guys see it all the time in history. A lot of these boxers, they don't have people behind them just to tell them to do their taxes. A lot of fighters come back to
Mm,
boxing because they can't pay. They had so many years of back tax pay and everything like that. They come back to pay their taxes. Like luckily for me, I have somebody in my corner that's like, yo, Mel, you need to set up an LLC, or you need to turn to an S corp now, and yada yada yada. You need to start writing everything down for tax cuts, because when the further you get in the sport, the more you're getting paid, but the more the IRS is going to be looking at you too. So a lot of so right for me, I'm just trying to manage fighters and help them avoid a lot of that nonsense they're going through. One thing I do with my partner Jerry, me and my partner, we try to also give fighters fair deals. Like a lot of old school managers, they believe and they still do the whole 33% of a fighter's contract, a fighter's pay. That's almost half of his paycheck, and on top of that, you got to look at also he still got to pay the
trainer.
yeah, the trainer. The trainer, the cut man. If he have a strength and conditioning coach, and and a nutritionist, I'm like, listen, man, I'm ready. I'm not here to break pockets. I'm here to, I want to see fighters happy to where they want to resign, or we bring in more clientele because of word of mouth of how we treating fighters, and we giving them a fair deal. So that's just me. That's just me. Like I've never. Luckily for me, I'm glad I've never been in a contract where I had to go pay a manager or somebody 33%, and I still got to go pay the trainer and the cut man and everyone else. Like, what does that leave me with? So I'm
Right.
like, no, no. I think we go by accordingly. The way we look at it is like, listen, if we know you're a good talent and we know you're going to bring in money down the road, why not? We can either make something or we can make nothing. I'd rather make something, even if it's not the big bulk, is something, and it grows and adds on over time.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how is life? Retirement life.
Boring.
Yeah.
Boring. Listen. Everybody knows. Like I said all the time again with the military. Like, bro, like I'm used to traveling.
Yeah.
Even as a fighter, I was used to traveling, training camp. Going to training camp and all that other stuff like that. So, like, I'm like, yo, I'm not used to just being like a stay home dad. It's just not me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I love spending time with my family all the time. I love them to death. I enjoy it. But just that in those moments, you be like, man, I really wish I was out there training. I wish I was out there doing this. So even with management, I get bored because, like, okay, now most of my work consists of phone calls and paperwork. But it's like I gotta be out there in the field. That's how I am. I just gotta be out there.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that.
So, what's one thing that you miss about boxing, and one thing that you don't miss about boxing?
One thing I miss about boxing is that, like I said, I always loved training. Just basically taking care of my body and staying in shape. Health as well. One thing I don't miss about boxing is the fight week and the weight cuts. That'd be the worst, man. The
Mm,
weight cuts be crucial at times, man. Especially those last 2 or 3 days before the weigh-in. But that's really it.
yeah. No, that's
Or
yeah.
is there an experience that you could give us that you had really a really hard time to make weight, or there was
Oh my,
a week fight week that you
man,
got sick, or
Texas, back in 2018, Texas. I'm trying to remember what part of Texas, but I was down there for a fight. I never forget. It was at a certain weight, meaning I had basically no. It was at a little bit. It basically gave me a little bit more room for weight instead of like coming down to 130. I had it like I think it was like 133. But I was just bad. Like I was like, oh, I got, it. I can go ahead and eat this or eat that. Because my thing has always been candy. So I'm eating Reese's cups and everything like that. Man, it tore my ass up at the wrong time, man. I never forget. I'm on the treadmill. I'm over there dying. I got sauna suit on. I'm like, I've never been in this situation ever in my whole entire career, amateur or pro. And after that, I was like, I just barely made the weight. That's my on the tee. I was still spitting in the cup the day of the weigh-in, still trying to. And I was like, after that, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it the correct way by the book, because I'm over here killing myself just to lose a couple of ounces now, not pounds. I was killing just to lose a couple of ounces, and it was like, It was the worst, and I was like, man, I'm glad I got out this fight unhurt, But I learned my lesson after that. I was like, we're gonna do everything by the books from now on.
Yeah, yeah. So, a question about that because I doesn't that ruin the fight for you? Like being that you have to cut so much weight, or you're constantly trying to dehydrate, cut water weight. What doesn't that affect the fight and how you perform?
It can. It really can. It really can. Yeah, it really can if you're not safe, especially if you don't. The main thing is to hydrate properly because a lot of us, a lot of sports now, if you look at it, they're so much more scientific. Like everybody brings in like a nutritionist or a strength coach or whatever. But one thing I learned from my nutritionist is the rehydration is more important than food because when you're in there and boxing in the ring, if you don't get that fluid back in your body, especially the fluid around your brain, that can cause that can set you up for a serious issues in terms of the fight. And you can have and then you can't you and if you don't got that hydration in you still you're gonna feel lethargic, dehydrated, you don't want your body you're gonna allow your body to overheat, so you don't want to do that. So one thing I learned was rehydration was key, and the rehydration actually what got me through that fight because I rehydrated properly the night before the fight, going into the next day. So I mean, of course, yeah, I had to eat and get my nutrition value, and that's another thing. Also, you got to eat the right food on before you fight, before the day of the fight, and on the day of the fight. Because think about it, if you've been eating healthy for the past 2 months, you can't go back to eating greasy, food on your stomach because your body's not used to it. So
Right.
that's what makes fighters sluggish. Going in the ring, eating a bunch of stuff that they haven't eaten in months is going to throw you off. It's going to make you sluggish. You're going to feel bad. You might end up having like stomach aches and everything. Like, I've been there before. Also, before I got a nutritionist. So a lot of things that I learned from boxing over the years is your nutrition is definitely probably the biggest thing you need to really focus on even in training camp and even after camp. Because again, after my fight, I couldn't just go back just to eating fast food. Whatever. I had to. You basically got to work your way back into it because it's not. It hurts. It hurts you.
Right. Right.
What was one of the foods that was the hardest to give up during training camp?
I'm from New York, so it's another story. I got caught eating. No, I got caught. I never forget. My top ranked debut in 2017. I had just started working with my nutritionist or whatever for the first time. And then this is when I was making my way on going down into a lower weight class. So I needed a nutritionist. She helped me. She helped me. I made the weight. She helped me get down the weight. But she was telling me, she's like, Jamel, you still gotta eat where we're still cooking. This is what I was telling you that story about while eating properly the right way. So I was like, yeah, I ate what she made, but I was still like, oh, I'm good. So I went out. I never forget. This is in New York. This is in New York City, because it was the fight card for Jorge Linares versus the Vasily Lomachenko.
Mm.
I never forget. I'm on the car. Like I said, the day is the weigh in. I make the weight. I make the weight or whatever. But I said, let me go out. Let me go out in town in New York City. Now I'm thinking New York City is home for me. It's one of the biggest cities in the world. No one's gonna catch me out here. What I'm saying, eating or whatever. I don't know how the hell this shit happened, but I never forget. I'm eating a slice of pizza, walking down the block, and my nutritionist is coming right up the block, and she catches me with the slice. And man, do you know I had to hear it for the rest of that night, and it was like, hey man, you got caught eating pizza, and they told you not to be eating that crap, and yada yada yada. And it's like, hey, you better. They said tomorrow night you better win this fight. And so the next night I had to go out there and win by knockout because I was like, yo, and I did though. But I was like, after that, and so I'm telling you, I wish she was here already. She'll tell you. So every time after I fight, she always orders pizza for me right after the fight as a joke and a treat though. She was like, listen, if you get through the fight without eating any junk food after your fight, we'll order you pizza, whatever. So every time after I fought, they would just order pizza just as a joke, but like at the same time it was a treat. But yeah, that was the hardest thing I had to give up in terms of when I started I had taken my nutrition more serious. It was like New York pizza.
That's funny.
So, what are your thoughts of this year in boxing? We
Oh, great
did
year.
have some great
Great
fights.
year, great year. Shout out to Javante Davis and Ryan Garcia. for setting it off with their fight. I believe that helped gain traction for my two good friends, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, to get their fight in. You see Jamel Charles about to fight Canelo now. So, 2023 has been a great year for boxing. So, I'm not mad.
Nah, it's definitely a good one, man. What's your take on this fight coming up with Terrence Crawford and Errol
That's
Spence?
gonna be it's hard for both of them. It's hard for, like I said, I trained with Errol Spence for the because we were Olympic teammates. I trained with Terrence Crawford because we had the same trainer. We trained together in the last few years. But it's hard for me to pick because they both have great qualities. I kind of go back and forth like, okay, Earl does well over here in terms of being a pressure fighter, a body puncher. Loves to keep coming, pressing the fight and coming forward. But then again, you got Terrence Crawford. He makes great adjustments. He can fight southpaw or orthodox. He also has power on both hands and so on. So he can make adjustments as well. So it's one of those things where whoever brings their A game and gets off first is gonna have the advantage. But it's gonna be up to either one of those fighters to also make adjustments and go from plan A because plan A might not work the whole entire fight. So you got to be a smart fighter to go to plan B or C.
That's true. That's true.
So you said that you know him personally, and I know when you were working out with Bomac and them, it was you. Were you at in Nebraska working out over there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We would always start our camps in Nebraska. We'll probably do Nebraska for maybe like 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and then all of us will pack up as one unit, and we'll go stay at Bud. Bud has a house in Colorado Springs, so we would go from Omaha to Bud's place in Colorado Springs, and we will all stay there as a family. So that's where I got mainly close with them guys because it wasn't like a thing where you go to the gym. All right, I see you guys later than me. Then everybody goes home. No, you go to the gym. We all go home together. We all got to go get up in the morning together as a family, run together in the morning, swim at night together, as a unit, and then go to and so on and so on. So we spent a lot of time together as one unit, and that's when I started like learning more and picking their brains more. 'Cause I'm in the house with them, so why not? And
Yeah.
I give those guys a lot of credit to me when it becoming a world champion because just being around them and just actually looking the way at Terrence, the way Bud, the way he lived outside of boxing, kind of helped me, look at things like, okay, he doesn't like this, like he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do anything. Even on his free time is family time, mainly family time, or just hanging out, having fun. But he doesn't do anything to put his body in jeopardy or anything like that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So let me ask
You
you
to
if
that B&B club, the first one they had, the little barn.
Oh no, I wasn't around that time. Man. I wasn't when they was in the gutter. I wasn't around that time, man. I know you, but yeah, I mean, think about it. They still got that. They still got it. I think Bud had turned it in. I think no, he turned it into it's crazy. He had turned that section into a wrestling gym. So because his sons wrestle. So
Yeah.
he re, saying redid everything in there, renovated and everything in there. And he turned into he put wrestling mats down, and he went from a barn to another facility for wrestling.
that's good. I was going to ask you if let's say if Terrence Crawford were to win this upcoming fight, who do you think will be the next contender? Who do you think will be the person he should fight next?
Well. For one, you got to take consideration that I believe both sides have a rematch clause. So
Oh, okay.
you probably gonna want to get that part two. But okay, let's say if he does win one and two, I would have liked him to fight maybe a Jamel Charlo in a weight class above. But you see Jamel Charlo now, he's got Canelo. So you never know how little boxing is funny because okay, he fights Charlo, say he beats Charlo, he's gonna have to vacate those belts. So now all the belts go elsewhere. So like boxing is just funny like that, man. It's like it's
Yeah.
just you like one year it could be you could see all these champions listed, and then 6 months later it'll be a whole different landscape in
Yeah.
boxing. So it's one of those things where luckily, what I'm saying, we at least get the opportunity to maybe see Spence, Crawford twice, but after that, I don't know. We neither one of those guys go. Maybe they. I know for a fact they both move up because it's one of those things in boxing. Like once you accomplish everything in one weight class, most fighters
They
they
move up.
distance up. Yeah, they distance up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was talking to Alejandro about this earlier. I was wondering if Keith Thurman would have been a better matchup for Terrence for Errol Spence. So I was just asking him, because I always saw Terrence Crawford as a great fighter. I just thought he
Right,
was a lot smaller than Errol Spence. So I
right.
felt like Keith Thurman would have been a better matchup. Just
No, I
my
think
take.
right now I think Bud is the better match, and it's not knock against Keith. I say that because Keith activity has not been the best friend of Keith Thurman, and it's one of those things. And then on top of that, Errol Spence is so much animosity between him and Keith Thurman that Errol was like because a lot of people don't notice. I mean, like I'm pretty sure Alejandro does, but like when you go back to your boxing news, bro, the beginning of the year, basically the end of last year, beginning of this year, there was talks about Heyman trying to make a fight between Errol and Keith Thurman, but Errol's like, he stood on his word
He
saying,
said no.
I'm not giving Keith a chance because remember at one point in time when Keith was the man,
He would.
he wouldn't give Errol a chance. So Errol took that to heart. So by all means, he was like if he had this, that's why he waited so long to get this fight the way because he was standing his ground. He was like, listen, I'm gonna fight this guy. I'm not gonna fight nobody at all. And Keith Thurman was never Keith Thurman was never gonna get that shot. Now let's say Keith Thurman was active, and Earl did agree to fight. I think yeah, it'd be a good fight, but I still don't think it would be a better fight than than Bud because you think Bud is small, but well, all right, and saying rightfully so. But Bud has been there with a lot of big guys, and like that's just, like he's always like this guy. Remember, this is a guy who was fighting as a pro as a lightweight, but then he's knocked out everybody in the welter. Everybody who they put against him as a welterweight, he's put down. He's put down. He even shocked me when he put down Sean Porter. Sean Porter is a hard
Yeah,
fighter to put down. Sean Porter, it takes a lot to put down on Sean Porter, and he did that. So like he may look it, but he can sure as hell hold his weight and carry it. You know what I'm saying? Carry it.
yeah.
So, what are your thoughts of that Canelo fight? Like, out of nowhere, it just happened. Everybody
Nowhere.
thought he was gonna
That's
fight
a treat.
McGregor
That's a
or
treat. That's a treat. That's a treat. That's a surprise. We all yeah. I thought he was gonna fight Jamal also. I thought he was gonna fight my man Maul. But credit to Mel. I mean Mel. He go again. Do you y'all do y'all homework? I know y'all do. You can go look at the interviews. Jamel Charles has been calling for Canelo for some time. And it's like it's one of those things. Okay, you got what you asked for. Let's make the most of it. But I'm not mad at it because I know Jamel Charlo can fight. Yes, it's two different weight classes above. Yes, it's Canelo Alvarez. We know Canelo Alvarez is still dangerous on any night. But again, for the fight fans, it's great to see that it's another fight with two noticeable and good names
Two
in the
elite
ring.
fighters.
So yeah, so and if you look at it, that's all the fans really want. Because look at the Ryan Garcia and Javante Davis did the numbers in terms of pay per view. They did over a million. What was it over a million or whatever pay per view buys something
yeah,
like that?
1.4.
Yeah, 1.4, 1.5 million. We haven't. If you let's be honest, we haven't seen those numbers since Floyd days. So even with Canelo, it's got to like it got to a point where people were saying that 300,000 pay per view buys was good for boxing. That's how it's got. But when you finally get the people what they want and you finally put fighters in the ring with the best against the best, it clearly shows that boxing is still a well-generated sport in terms of fan play and business. You gotta make the right matches, and I'm guessing that these promoters are seeing that now. Where you've seen after that, we got the Spence Crawford fight. Now we got Charlo. Now we got Canelo and Charlo. Like and the list. And now they trying to. You see in the news. Shakur Stevenson wants to fight Devin Haney. So like when you put in the best fighters against the best fighters, the formula clearly shows that boxing can survive and can do well.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yep, it's giving because all these fights last year, you could just imagine it could have
Forgettable.
happened.
You can't even remember half the fights from last year. You know there was boxing last year, but you can barely remember the fights, but I guarantee it's sad to say because I was saying this earlier. I was like, it's sad to say. It's sad when you got to say, "Oh man, 2023 is probably one of the best years of boxing that we've seen all year," which is true. But we need to have that as a more common trend than like feeling like, oh, we as the fans, because I'm a fan of boxing before anything. We as the fans feel like it has to feel like Christmas in order for us to get good fights. No, that should be a common trend where the best are fighting the best.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And
That's
I know you were there for the Lomachenko David Haney fight. What were your thoughts on that? Like, would you like to see a rematch? And you think the right person won that night?
I'll say it for starters. I don't care if I see a rematch, but I thought Lomachenko pulled it out because I was there. I was there in the arena, so I seen it from a different angle. But at the same time, shout out to my man Devin Haney. I wasn't mad by the decision because I didn't think it was a robbery. I didn't think it was a robbery. I think it was a lot of close fight. I think it was a lot of close fights. I mean, close rounds in that fight. And then when you look back on it, there was things that Devin was doing, like he was going to the body and things like that. So you never know what these referees are watching for. But I'm not gonna sit there and knock Devin and say that it was a robbery because you can't hold it against the kid. He's not the one judging the fight. He's just in there fighting his fight at the end of the day. But again, I thought Lomachenko did enough to win it, but I did see a close fight. I did see a close fight, and I wasn't mad if it would have went either way. But it is what it is. But I don't care for a rematch. I don't care for a rematch. I'd rather see him again, like fight guys like Shakur Stevenson. Guys who I've been in there with. Shakur's a phenomenal talent. I mean, I'll tell you right now, when I was fighting him, it was like one of those things like, man, like he's there in front of you, but it's like he's not there. Like this is pissing me off. Like I'm like, yo, I'm like, oh, I got a longer reach. I'm bigger than him, but it's like he like his ring IQ, and his you know, his ring IQ is his best asset in his coordination, his eyes, his hand eye coordination. Because like if you do like any type of twitch, any type of twitch with your muscles or anything, he picks up on it and he's already out the way before you can get that. So you can get that punch off because he already seen the little twitch then he's already preparing for it. So that's why I give Shakur Stevens a lot of respect and praise because he's going to be tough for anybody to deal with. Like I said, I don't take I don't take anything personally from losing to him. Like I'll probably be harder on myself if I lost to a bum, but like Shakur Stevenson just one of those generational special talents, and that's just how it's just simple as that. And I give him all the praise in the world. So for me, I'd rather see a Devin Haney who's also saying another young talent. Just fight. Fight the best out there. Continue moving. Keep it rolling. Just keep it going. Hey, fight the next big catch out there. Like I mean, I ain't like I said, you guys seen. I ain't duck nobody. I ain't duck. I knew what I was going in against when I signed the contract for Shakur. But if you want to be great or you want to dare to be great, you gotta test yourself. Whatever. That's just how it is. That's how I am. But a lot of these fighters though, well, a lot of the younger fighters coming in, they get so caught up. Even Devin Haney said they get so caught up of being the next Floyd Mayweather that everybody has to feel like they gotta do whatever they gotta do to protect their own. They forget though, Floyd Mayweather had to go through a lot of tough challenges and champions in his career as well before he became Money Mayweather and so on. But he was still fighting champion after champion. A lot of these kids, they're just cool with keeping their own, but then you look at their resume, like who have you fought? Like what have you done?
right. Yeah. And that was going to be something I was going to ask you. Why is it that it's taking so long to get these big fights? And
They're scared. I'm
yeah,
not saying they're scared of their opponent. They're more scared of a lot of these kids. They can't take criticism. They can't even in if you look at it. Come on, Alejandro. Go back and look at a kid that actually won the fight, but it was a fight that didn't look good, or people might think he may have lost. And look what they mindset and mentalities at. They can't take it. They don't like criticism. They don't like criticism from the commentators. They don't like criticism from the people, the boxing news. Guys like yourselves. If y'all go out there and put a podcast and say one critical thing, and then it may have been true about the fight, but it don't sit well with them. What do? They shut down. They don't want to do interviews. They get on Twitter. They beef with commentators now. And then on top of the bigger picture is though they're so mentally beaten that they don't want to go risk it against the better fighter because if they feel like if they lose, all the little glory that they have is all gone. That's how it is.
yeah,
I mean, if you look at it seriously, they get so like mentally destroyed. I mean, again, like I said, Devin, it's not your fault that what the judges picked it in your way, whatever. But there's no need for you to be out here arguing with the commentators, the matchmakers, and then you out here beefing with the fans, and like it's no need for it. It's like, hey, if you want to correct your wrongs, go out there in the next fight and prove everybody wrong. I
Yeah.
had to do that. I had to do that with when I had fought Okendo. Back during the pandemic, I had came over COVID. I had got headbutt. I had a scratch retina, and the fight, and I couldn't continue to fight. Everyone out there, they called me, including a guy like Tim Bradley, who was commentating. They all called me a quitter and everything. But I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to stress it. I can't be out here arguing with the world. It's pointless. It makes you look
Endless
bitter.
battle.
It makes you look bitter. It makes you look sour. So what I did was I had to just sit those next few months or so. I had to wait to my next fight, and I had to go in that next fight against Frampton, who was a better opponent and more accomplished opponent. And I had to put him down. And after that, everybody forgets what happened in the last fight. Oh, Jamel's back. Oh, but that's how it is in boxing. Like if you wanna put people if you want to people saying to shut them up or whatever, you gotta just continue rolling with the punches and just go prove them wrong in your next fight. That's how it is. But some of these fighters, they get so bent out of shape because somebody said, "Oh, I felt he didn't look good at this moment, even though he won." Oh, he don't know what he talking about. But at the same time, all right, well, you should. Well, you won the fight. How about fighting this guy? They're so mentally beaten up. They don't want. They're not. They look for every. They look for every reason why that fighter doesn't deserve a shot, or why they don't like. You just gotta see it. Oh, there's not enough money. There's not enough money. Or who has he beaten? Or what has he like? Come on, man. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the fighters that I see that he's a great talent, but um, he he's it's Teofimo Lopez. Like when the last time when he forget the guy he fought, but he saw, do I still have it? Do I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
have it? And they doubt themselves so much, and it's just one of the things I was talking to my cousin that he's a doctor. Is boxing should have like kind of what you're doing is have a therapist to help them out in a
Yeah.
team because it's a real tough lonely sport.
And it's all physical in the body, and it's like it feel like you're the only one taking all that physicality on the body. So yeah, you gotta. That's why I prolonged so long in my own career, man. Like I said, I won my world title late as they consider it, and then I went on to defend it. You know, a handful of times defended it. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, you gotta take care of your body, but you also gotta, like I said, you gotta be around the right people. Like I spoke to Teofimo his last fight. After his last fight, he got the ring. I waited for him. 'Cause I was commentating that night. So yo, I said, hey, bro, congrats, man. I said, yo, you do know that this is your best performance of your career. But I'm telling you right now, bro, forget. Cause like matter of fact, let's forget the fight. The day before the fight in the fighter meeting, he had a moment. He had a moment in the fighting meeting. Like him and his father, they were going through their breakdown of things that they had to go through, and it was crazy to hear. And I'm thinking like, man, like yo, this dude just needs some real people around him. So after the fighting meeting, I'll never forget. I got up, I went around the table, I told him, I said, "Yo, man, come here, man." I just gave him a hug. I was like, "Yo, man, yo, so Tio, me and you been good friends, bro. Like, I don't care about what you say in the tabloids." And when he said the whole thing about Top Rank is giving more attention to African American fighters and yada yada yada, I didn't take it to heart because this is a kid that I know personally. So I'm like, I'm just speak to him when I see him. And I pulled him to the side. I spoke to him like a man. I said, "Yeah, man, listen, man." I said, at the end of the day, you may think the world's against you because it's Austin and Teofimo's biggest thing. Everybody's against him. The promoter's not with him. The network's not with him. You know that whole thing. It's nothing. It's nothing new. So I was like, listen, bro, forget all that mess. You tomorrow, everyone against you. At the end of the day, you got people that rely, that depend on you. So you got a son, right? You got a son. Your son's only but a few years old. Use your motivation for your son. You got people to fight for. I said you got somebody to fight for, bro. So if you think the world's against you, remember you got somebody in your corner that's always looking up to you and that needs you. And he looked at me. He was like, you know what? He's like, you know what, Jamel? You right. I'm good. I'm good. So nah, for real, man. I'm serious, man. I'm saying it because you know, what I'm saying you're my boy. I just want to see you do well. I don't care about the. I said forget boxing, bro. We talking about life. Boxing is only a small window for boxing, but you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, the things you say and do, they're gonna travel with you for the rest of your life. So keep that in mind. So I think after he won, I waited for him. I said, see, bro, I told you when you stay focused, look what you do. This is your best performance of your career. He's like, yeah, man, I appreciate that, bro. Da, da, da. He's like, that's what he said. I think I'm gonna retire. But he told me that first. I'm like, bro, don't go out there. I said, bro, don't go out there and tell that to little people over there in the interviews you're gonna retire. Nah, bro. I think I'm gonna retire though, man. I think I did everything I had to do. I proved everybody wrong. I said, yeah, you proved it. I said, you proved a lot of people wrong, but listen, bro, you got so much to fight for, man. There's a lot in you, bro. I don't want to see you go, but if you do that, that's you know what I'm saying. If you do it, then whatever. But congrats on your victory, man. Go home to your family and enjoy your time away.
You think he's gonna retire?
Hell no. Hell no. I think listen, I'm be real. I don't want to put my man on the spot, Tio. I think I know what Tio doing, man. Let's be real. Like, let's be real for a minute. Tio kept mentioning how he has to go to this whole court thing with his son and his ex-wife. If you ask me, if you ask me, I think he's saying the whole retirement thing to use in court. Because Randy, you know, y'all know that child support coming around that corner. So if I tell these people in front, if I tell the world and tell these people in this courtroom that listen, I'm not making no income, you know what I'm saying? I don't box anymore and yada yada yada. That's gonna lighten the blow for that, you know what I mean, for that statement. But I guarantee you, after all that whole court things coming, after watch, I'm telling you, after the whole court case and all that is over with, watch him make a return. They'll watch him make a return. I promise you, he'll make a return. After he finishes his whole legal issues, he's coming back. And I believe he's gonna have no choice but to come back, maybe because of those legal issues, depending on how it goes. But he's coming back. He's gonna come back. He's only 25 years old. Come on, man. Yeah. Wasn't like you got beat up and was a close fight. Like you did your thing. Like, you know, it's like you still got it. You proved that you still got it.
Yeah, I don't think he's retiring.
Nah, hell no. He waved. No, listen. He's looking
at 25.
No, and you gotta read between the lines. The minute he said that, the next time if he does come back or whatever, this and the third, he's looking for whoever has the bigger bag. It's all about the money, man. It's money. Yeah, it's business. Let's play chess. Let me just give up the belt and do this and then listen. Once somebody gives him the right offer, he'll be back. Sure, I'll come back. I'm just like, if I come up with my biggest win like that, I'm like, come on, man.
And so, other than that, like, is there anything else you could tell your fans of what's going on in your life after retirement?
Oh, I'll be back. I'll be back myself. I'm telling them, I'll be back. I'll be back. And I know everyone's gonna be like, why? Listen, man, I'm coming back. Don't come
back to the ring.
I'm coming back to the ring. That's what I'm saying. I'm coming back to the ring. That's why I've been out here working out. You guys see me. I stay. I'm slim still. You know, I'm not. What I was fighting at 130. I just last week. You know, because like my sons, you know, they're in track, so they got me out there in the track with them working out. And so like my weight's down to like 100 and like I'm like probably 13 pounds away from making weight. You know, with boxing, a lot of fighters like 30 pounds over the weight limit that they usually fight. Not for me. Like I said, it's all about discipline. It's about taking care of yourself, even in your later years. But I had a shoulder injury I had to take care of last year. I took care of that. Whatever, with the VA, Randy. But you know, I had that go. That takes a while, but they got it done. They finally got it done. But yeah, but no, I got that taken care of. But no, I just that I understand what like people are concerned about me. But you know, I say I want to come back, but like I'm smart enough. Like I said again, I do my own management. I got my own management, so I know how it works and the ins and outs. With that being said, I'm actually working out a 3 year. A three fight deal plan right now. Where, you know, the first fight, if I'm being honest, you know, it's basically just to get my feet back wet and just for them to be like. And then they give me an opportunity to be like, okay, Jamel, if you feel comfortable with this fight, okay, we'll go to the second fight and stuff. But if you don't feel right the first fight, I can just easily say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I can just walk away and keep it moving. I'm not being held to a contract or anything like that that's gonna keep me. You know what I'm saying? No, no, you owe us two more. No, if I don't feel right in the first fight, without after the first fight, I worked out with a situation where they'll just let me just go on my way and I'll go back to commentating. But no, it's gonna be the first fight is gonna basically like I said get my feet wet. Still take it seriously because like I said for me I don't look past any fighter. Second fight is gonna be a fight where it throws me back higher in the rankings. Third fight is potentially a world title fight. So that's where I'm going.
All right, man. Good luck.
You got to be smart, like I said, but you
Good
got to
luck,
be
man.
smart. Yeah, yeah. I'm right. Right now, I'm telling you guys right now, I'm already working out and trying to plan in my training camp with that. And Alejandro, it's funny that you asked about like Bud and them because I've been speaking with them, so I might go back over there with them to go train, train again. I mean, like I told him, I said, why it was a working formula. Those guys got me to become a world champion. Those guys know me best. So I felt like, hey, I called up Bo Mac. I said, hey, Bo, I'm thinking about coming back, but I'm telling you right now, I really don't want to come back if it's not with you in the game. You know what I mean? So that's nothing. Like I'm not just coming back just to come back. It has to be the right situation around the whole board.
Mm. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's
So Bo
it's
Mac told me, but he told me, he said, listen, Jamel, we'll talk. He said, listen, let me just finish with the Arrow and Bud fight. And after that, I said, yeah, yeah, so yeah, yeah, so yeah, so yeah. Focus on him. Focus on him. It's a big fight. I get it. Focus on him. I don't want to take no. I don't want to distract anybody. Focus on them. But he said after the fight, we'll talk. But he did invite me to come out there before they go to Vegas. So in the next week or so, I might be out there. You'll probably see me out there with them. Just kicking it for a while, just to show my support. But yeah, I mean, I'm in a good space, man. Like I just needed that time away, man, and it just let my body heal. I was going through a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's good, man.
that's exciting. Make sure
Yeah,
you rest up, man.
yeah,
For your fight next month.
my nutritionist, she's still on my ass. So she's like, listen, you gotta keep your weight here. Like, even recently, she was like, it's crazy. Like I've been so disciplined with my the way I take care of myself that like my diets are a little bit different in camp. Like my diets is funny. Y'all gonna laugh, but it's like my diets they actually force me to eat more. Instead of the other way around. Like my diets, I eat like I literally eat up until the day before the weigh-in. Like I'll eat really good because like most of like a lot of like that's one thing I want to tell people watching. Like most of the weight that you want to get rid of is usually water weight. Water weight is a lot easier to lose than just regular fat and stuff like that. So like I'll drink a gallon and a half of water every day. So that's where most of my weight comes from. So when it's
Wow.
time to lose it, it comes off like that. But everything else be more. I'll put on. So instead of me have to worry about fat so much, I like my strength coach now. His job is to put more muscle on me to be stronger in the ring. So usually how my camps usually go. Usually it's just eating more, putting the muscle back on, and then when it comes down to fight week, I'm still drinking. Literally that Monday in fight week, I'm still drinking 2 gallons. I'm still drinking 2 gallons of water. So I'm still putting in. Every if a gallon of water is 8 pounds. So I'm doing at least. So I'm coming in like real heavy fight week, but most of it's water weight. So when it's time for me to put on that, like my one thing, my nutritionist has a thing. I'm not allowed to wear sauna suits during training camp until 2 days before the weigh-in because if you overheat your body, people don't notice your body will stop losing weight because your body's gonna say, no, I don't want to let go any more weight. He's overheating. I gotta keep this water. I gotta keep this water inside of him. So now that's why she says don't wear sauna suits until that Wednesday or
Right.
Thursday in the fight in the fight week. So yeah, like my diet, like I said, my thing's always been different in terms of taking care of my body. And for me, if I have like if I'm eating fast food, but I know I have a camp coming up, I have no problem cutting things cold turkey. Like, all right, whatever. Let's be disciplined. Let's do it the right way, and let's get there. Let's get there without killing my body. So when I told her the other day, I was at 100. And like she was like, how much you weigh? I'm like, yeah, right now I'm like 142. That's too light. You got to you put the weight on now. Like, so like yeah, now if you guys see me, I'm out there eating whatever because she's like, yo, put the weight on. So I'm like, cool. I never have to worry about it's like for me, it gets to the point in training camp where we argue because I'm like, Paulina, I don't want to eat all this. She's like, no, you got to eat all it. Like, so I'm like, but I got a fighter on the side of me who has weight issues, and his plate is like this and he's a bigger dude than me, but my plate is like I'm like, yo, I don't feel like, but I gotta, what I'm saying, I gotta put that, I gotta put
Yeah,
that muscle, I gotta put that weight on. So for me,
yeah.
it's different. I never. That's what I say. You guys never see. You'll never see me in the tabloids for missing weight or something like that. And so like yo, so that's what I'm saying. Like for me, I'm like yo, and then on top of that, after after the weigh in, like I mean, listen, when I fought Carl Frampton is like 5'5" or whatever. I'm big. I'm 5'10". Carl Frampton weighed the day of the weigh in, I weighed less than Carl Frampton. And then but I had my nutritionist with me. She got my weight up to literally I think I weighed at 120. I was 129 and a half on the weigh-in. By the time I fought Carl Frampton, I was like 150. I was already a welterweight. I was like 148, 149 ish around that time, around that weight. But it was functional weight because it was mainly just water. It was just mainly water. I ate my meals she made me, and I so I ate healthy. A lot of it, a lot of the meals she makes for me is usually like fish. Even at times she'll have me eat steak because I need that protein level and things of that nature. So like it's for me, it's like I said, different strokes for different folks, but I have no, I, you know, what I'm saying I have no issues functioning the way with the plan she has me on. So I'm good. That's what I could be. That's what I could be. Probably 50 years old and I still got here making, you know what I'm saying, still making weight better than the younger kids who you guys see these kids is missing weight left and right. Like
Yeah,
I can come
yeah.
back. I'm like, yo, you put me on the scale, I'm good. They're like every time I go, oh champ, man, you look like you like you on fight shape right now. Because another thing I'm gonna say this to you guys too. My biggest critic, people don't know this, is Andre Ward. Andre Ward
Really?
always, yes, Andre Ward always on my case, bro. When you coming back? Because I think honestly, him and Tim Bradley have been the main two in the past year. That's like Jamel, the division's open, just come back. I'm like, I'm trying to get used to just. I want to just commentate more right now. Let me just. Nah, bro, you. I know you want to. What's going like Tim? Like I think I never forget. The Teofimo fight week. Andre Ward comes up to me and says, "Bro, what's it going to take for you? What's it going to take for you to come back?" I'm like, "Huh? No, seriously, what's it gonna take for you to come back?" I'm like, Dre, I just like maybe just the right situation. So if you got the right situation, you come back. I'm like, yeah, it has to be the right situation. Okay, all right. So I needed to know. So like Dre has always been on me constantly about like about making a return. I respect it. I respect it because coming from him and Tim Bradley, who are both freshly new Hall of Famers, that says a lot, and it shows you that they just feel like just from knowing me and being around me, more from commentating, that there's a lot more in me. I have a great work ethic. Like I said, I never had an issue cutting things cold turkey. I never have an issue being disciplined in camps, and I just like to work. That's just me. I just like to work. I'm never too old. I'm never too old. I never feel like I'm never too old to learn. That's a lot of problem with a lot of these fighters, even young fighters. A lot of young fighters, they feel like they know it all already, so you can't tell them much. For me, I'm like, listen, you tell me, okay, we gotta go do this. All right, cool, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you guys know firsthand. I said in my, it came out of my mouth. I said, if I'm coming back, I'm coming back. And once my mind is set up, that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna do it the smart. I'm gonna do it the smart and right way. I'm not gonna like I told you, bro. I'm not gonna just jump into the fire. I ain't fought since last man. I gotta let me. But I will say this. I want to fight at least twice for this year's over. I'll say that right now. So like we get that first fight the way, and say if it stops, if it ends by a knockout. All right, put me back in there. Put me back in there as soon as possible. I don't feel like I need. I don't want to be that fighter. Be like, oh, I need to take a few months off. Nah, man, man, put me back in there, man. He's like, we like, listen,
Come back.
I'm coming back at 130.
130.
Just to prove that I can still do it. Just to prove that I can still do it. I see a lot of these young fighters, and I ain't knocking them, but you know what I'm saying. It's discipline. It's just I guess something that just carried from the military with me. But like, if you stick to the course, it shouldn't be. It's not going to be an issue. So, and I feel like also let's be honest too. Let's look at the boxing landscape. 135 is packed. You gotta get in line. You gotta get in line. One person has all the belts. I can't get in there. You guys know. Let's be smart. Like I can't get in there and cut the line. Like no. So like, do I have the time to really sit and wait for the opportunity, or can I go a different route where the landscape is still open? It's going to take about one or two fights to get back into the mix of things and go from there. You got to think about it. Devin Haney got all the best at 135, and you already see you got Shakur trying to get at him. You got this one, you got Tank Davis trying to get at him. You got so who am I to be like, you know what, I deserve that spot, or I feel like I should cut a line in front. No, I'm just being. You got to be real with yourself. I'm always honest with myself. I'm honest. Like I can't just do that, and they box won't allow me to do that. So I got to get in where I fit in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, I
exciting
never, I'm
news.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Because a lot of these guys, oh, I'm gonna get back in it, but like, nah, they don't have no plan. They just want to get back in it. Like, no, I actually carefully sat with promoters. Todd Ringham's still good with, of course. Like I said, I commentate with them, but like I said, listen, we want to do it as a step plan to get back into it. We don't want to just go in here off the rip fighting a killer. And yes, we beat this killer, but what's next? There's not like what's next. There's no guarantee. I need something where there's guarantees and there's goals so that keeps you motivated. Because like again, it's like okay, if I win this fight, I know I get this. If I win this fight, I know I get this. That's how you want to have it. That's why you want to have for any fighter. You want to have your road to glory. But you want to have it mapped out. You want to have every fight has to make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's exciting. Exciting news, and just make sure to let us know when you
Hey, all right, listen, I got you guys, man. Like, listen, man. As
Definitely.
long as we can get on here and schedule it next time. Shoot, next time we might talk. We might be talking about after the first
next
fight.
fight.
Put it like that. Put it out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. After the next fight, we're going to the second fight. What we doing there? So, like, I mean, again,
Sounds good.
I'm like I said, man. I'm in a good space, man. Like I said, I just needed that break. I know my body. I know me. And again, I just I'm doing the smart way. I just want, like I said, for me, I just want to be a 2-time world champion. And then we go from there. We see what the best. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not trying to be out here. I never wanted to go out here. Of course, yeah, the money's always good, but I never set out goals to be, the flashiest fighter, the richest fighter. Like, no, I just wanted to have something where I can look back on personally and be like, you know what, I did that, I accomplished this, or even my kids. My father did this, my father did that. I mean, I give my kids, the world now, but I want them to have something to look back on, years down the road.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super good that you're in a good spot in your career now, business wise and just health wise. So it's good to
Yeah.
hear from fighter.
I mean, let's be honest. We see a lot of guys who say when they leave boxing a year later, they look a whole totally different person. Look about like three of them, about three of them. By the time you look at them, you know what I'm saying? When they talk about retire. Let's be real. Like for me,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good over here. Like yo, but like again, like Randy, it's just discipline, man. This is what we like. My whole like you gotta think about it. I was a kid when I joined the military.
Yeah.
So basically, that's like work is all I know. Work and discipline is all I know. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I always kept that mindset. Even in my toughest battles with boxing, I was thinking about my time in Iraq, or if I lost a close friend, in the military, or fighters that's going through depression, PTSD. So I have PTSD, but I don't let it cripple me. I don't let it, I don't use it as an excuse either. Like I think I get more irritated with fighters when you see them using mental health as an excuse to why they did some old dumb mess in the streets or whatever. Or whatever. I'm like, yeah, like you taking away from people who actually really do suffer from mental illness or whatever. And when you watering it down, you basically watering it down. So when somebody really cries for help, eventually, no one's gonna really, saying take notice of it because everyone's using it as a crutch. That's not right.
Yeah. That's true.
And again, I continue to fight, saying personally because of military veterans to show them that, so no matter what, I've lost a best friend that my best friend passed away my first year in the military, and he actually helped me get enlisted to the Marine Corps because he was a year older than me, and what I'm saying, I named my first son after him, because we grew up together, and he was a year older than me. He went to the Marine Corps, and then a year later, what I'm saying, he told me, "Hey, bro, what you doing for yourself? Just come join." I joined because of him. Then after I joined, a year later, he had passed away. So that took a toll on me. And then, like I
Wow.
told you guys earlier, my daughter in 2009, I was still in the Marine Corps. She had passed away. So like, I've been through a lot, but y'all have never seen me ever say, "Oh, I'm going through this because of mental depression or illness and all my PTSD and yada yada yada." I was in the bad spot. I mean, I was drinking every day, all that, bro. But I never made any excuses. And, I never felt bad for myself because no one else is gonna feel bad for me. That's how I looked at it. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to just turn all this tragedy and pain that I've been through. I'm going to use it as fuel. And I've been blessed. I became an Olympian. No one thought I was going to do that. No one believed I could be an Olympian. No one thought I was going to become a world champion. I did that. So what's to say that I can't, saying do what I want to do again and over, now? That's
Yeah.
how I look at it. That's how I look at it. Even if I don't achieve maybe what I want to do, I still should go out there and show that so I never gave up and I still continue to push forward and fight.
No, that's great,
That's
man.
awesome.
That's great.
Well, we're excited for your news, and it's, I'm glad we got this conversation out.
Yeah,
Put it all
man.
out there.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Hey, thank you, man.
Randy, you got any other questions?
No, I was gonna ask him, man, how can your fans reach you? You have an
Hey,
Instagram or
at
Facebook?
Jamel Herring, yeah, at Jamel Herring on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Anybody who knows me, man, I am a people person. I don't mind speaking with anyone. I don't believe for me, I never believed that I'm bigger than anyone or better than anyone. I'm human just like you two on here as well. We put our pants on the same way every morning. So like
No.
just because you may see me on the TV does not mean I'm better than you in any way. Because I might need you for something from one day. You know what I mean? Or I might need your advice or help one day. So that's just that person. So I always tell people, don't hesitate to hit me up. If I'm free, just like I did for y'all. Hey, if I'm free, let's log on. Let's talk.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
That's it.
All right.
And we appreciate you, man. Thank you for
Hey,
joining.
anytime, Rennie, man. Like I said, man, salute to you, Rennie Alejandro, bro, man. I appreciate you guys. Y'all know me, man. Anytime y'all need me, man, please feel free to hit me up. Don't hit me up. Don't hit me up. Don't hit me up. But give me a few weeks though after the Spence fight if you ask any questions. Though I don't want it.
Okay.
I don't.
We
I
coming
don't
to
want
look for you,
it.
man.
It was like, so how you think with that fight? Like, oh man, like, I don't want.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, all love, bro, man. I'll speak to y'all again though anytime.
All right, man.
I'll see you for that one. I'll be there.
All right, bro, man.
All
Appreciate
right.
y'all,
All
man.
right.
Take care,
Thank you
man.
so
Salute.
much.
All right. I hit the end record.